What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get right into it. Debate has intensified across the MMA community following Israel Adesanya's recent loss, with many questioning whether it's time for the former champion to step away from the sport. Adesanya was stopped in the second round by Joe Pyfer in a performance that, despite showing early promise, ultimately marked his fourth consecutive defeat. Given his age and the recent skid, discussions about his future have quickly gained momentum. Among those weighing in is Demetrius Johnson, who was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame the same night. Speaking on Ariel Helwani's show, Johnson offered a candid perspective, suggesting that if he were in Adesanya's position, he would consider retirement. He emphasized that fighters often begin their careers driven by financial goals, competitive passion, and love for the lifestyle. However, once those goals are achieved, the motivation to continue enduring the physical toll becomes harder to justify. Johnson also pointed to the long-term health implications of fighting, highlighting concerns such as Adesanya's recent injuries, including a broken nose. In his view, Adesanya has already accomplished everything there is to achieve in mixed martial arts, solidifying his legacy as one of the greatest middleweights in history. Continuing to compete, he suggested, may offer diminishing returns compared to the risks involved. Despite these opinions, Adesanya has made it clear that he intends to fight again, leaving fans curious about what comes next and who his potential opponent might be. His determination to continue reflects the mindset of a champion unwilling to walk away just yet. Meanwhile, Johnson also shared insights into his own journey. He revealed that he expressed gratitude to Hunter Campbell for facilitating his move to one championship, where he enjoyed financial success and new opportunities. Interestingly, Johnson noted that he did not see Dana White at the event, though it was likely due to scheduling demands. In related news, Arman Tsarukyan is reportedly set to face URGED Faber at an upcoming RAF event, adding another intriguing matchup to the combat sports calendar. Before we continue, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with all our latest content. Moving on to another news. Tensions have flared between Nate Diaz and Daniel Cormier after Cormier publicly shared his thoughts on Diaz's upcoming bout against Mike Perry. While Cormier acknowledged excitement surrounding the fight and the high-profile event it will headline, he also made it clear that he does not consider either Diaz or Perry among the elite welterweights in today's landscape. Additionally, Cormier suggested that the UFC's planned White House card on June 14th would be a more compelling event overall. Diaz, however, did not take those comments lightly. Appearing on Theo Von's podcast, Diaz delivered a fiery and unfiltered response, criticizing Cormier both personally and professionally. He questioned Cormier's credibility as an analyst, implying that his transition from fighter to commentator reflects shortcomings in his own career. Diaz also pointed to his financial success in the sport, claiming he earned more than Cormier despite never holding a UFC title, using that as a benchmark to challenge Cormier's criticisms. The Stockton native went further, taking aim at Cormier's fighting style and entertainment value, dismissing his fights as unmemorable and even claiming he had barely watched them. Diaz also referenced a knockout loss in Cormier's career in an attempt to undermine his authority to critique others. While some of his remarks appeared emotional and off the cuff, they underscored a deeper frustration with how he feels he has been portrayed and evaluated by analysts and fellow fighters. Interestingly, this exchange may also be linked to earlier comments made by Ben Askren, who had criticized Diaz in a conversation with Cormier, suggesting Diaz had built a reputation that exceeded his actual abilities. At the time, Cormier partially defended Diaz, acknowledging that he was indeed a top fighter during his prime years. With both sides now having voiced strong opinions, the feud has added another layer of intrigue to Diaz's upcoming fight. Whether this war of words continues or fades away remains to be seen, but it has certainly captured the attention of fans and added fuel to an already heated narrative in the combat sports world. Moving on to another news. Kayla Harrison has provided a positive update on her recovery following the neck surgery that forced her out of a scheduled January 24 bout against Amanda Nunes. The injury not only sidelined her from that highly anticipated matchup, but also ruled her out of the UFC's planned White House event, leaving fans eager for news about her return. Speaking recently on Jorge Masvidal's show, Harrison appeared in good spirits and optimistic about her recovery timeline. When asked about a potential return date, she explained that her progress has been encouraging and that the next key step will be undergoing a CT scan. If the results come back positive, Harrison expects to resume light training drills shortly afterward, with a gradual transition into full sparring within a few weeks. Despite the seriousness of the surgery, Harrison maintained her trademark confidence and humor throughout the conversation. She joked about her visible scar, embracing it as a symbol of resilience and toughness rather than a setback. Her lighthearted attitude reflects not only her mental strength, but also her eagerness to return to competition as soon as she is medically cleared. From a competitive standpoint, the expectation expectation remains that Harrison will eventually face Amanda Nunes once she is fully recovered. The matchup has generated significant interest within the MMA community, as it would pit two of the most accomplished female fighters against each other. While no official date has been confirmed, Harrison's timeline suggests that a potential fight could be targeted for mid to late summer, assuming her recovery continues without complications. For now, Harrison's primary focus remains on her health and ensuring a safe return to the octagon. Her disciplined approach to recovery indicates that she is not rushing the process, instead prioritizing long-term performance and well-being. Fans and analysts alike will be closely watching the results of her upcoming scan, as it will likely determine the next phase of her comeback. In addition to Harrison's update, recent reports have also revealed that a UFC fighter has been handed a 1-year suspension for the use of performance-enhancing drugs, highlighting the organization's continued efforts to enforce its anti-doping policies and maintain competitive integrity within the sport. Moving on to another news. The UFC has been hit with another anti-doping controversy after Ali Abdelaziz was handed a 1-year suspension for violating the promotion's drug policy. The announcement came via Combat Sports Anti-Doping, which confirmed that the flyweight tested positive for a banned substance. According to the official statement, the fighter's sample revealed the presence of hydrochlorothiazide, a diuretic that is prohibited at all times under the UFC's anti-doping program. Diuretics are commonly associated with aiding weight cuts by reducing water retention, but they are also classified as masking agents, meaning they can potentially conceal the use of other banned substances. Because of this dual purpose, their use is taken very seriously by regulatory bodies. CSAT emphasized that the fighter was fully cooperative throughout the investigation. However, despite this cooperation, the organization decided not to reduce or alter the suspension due to the severity of the violation. Officials noted that the substance was used knowingly during fight week, a critical period where fighters are expected to adhere strictly to all regulations. The use of a diuretic at that stage was deemed to have provided a clear competitive advantage in making the contracted weight. As a result, the suspension will remain in effect until February 21st, 2027, sidelining the fighter for a full year and halting any momentum he may have been building in the flyweight division. The consequences extend beyond just the suspension, as the fighter's recent victory has also been overturned. MMA journalist Nolan King reported that the Texas Athletic Commission has officially changed the result of the bout against CJ Vergara Osborne to a no contest. This ruling reflects standard procedure in cases involving failed drug tests, ensuring that the integrity of the competition is preserved. This incident serves as another reminder of the UFC's strict stance on performance-enhancing drugs and the serious repercussions fighters face when violating these policies. While the athlete now faces a long road back to competition, the broader message remains clear. Adherence to anti-doping regulations is non-negotiable in modern mixed martial arts. Moving on to another news. Michael Morales has recently found himself at the center of attention following two notable encounters involving top names in the division, further intensifying the race for a potential title shot. As one of the rising contenders at welterweight, Morales appears to be edging closer to a high-stakes opportunity, possibly against reigning champion Islam Makhachev. The first incident involved a tense confrontation with Ian Machado, Gary. According to Morales, the encounter took place at the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas and quickly escalated into a heated exchange. While no footage exists of the altercation, Morales suggested that the situation was intense and hinted that Gary was fortunate the moment was not captured on camera. Despite the lack of visual evidence, the rivalry between the two fighters appears to be growing, fueled by their shared ambition to secure the next title shot. Morales acknowledged that both fighters have differing perspectives on what transpired, but made it clear that he stands by his version of events. He also emphasized that a potential fight with Gary would bring out a different side of his approach inside the octagon. Known for his composed and calculated style, Morales indicated he would adopt a far more aggressive strategy if the two were to meet, adding intrigue to a matchup that fans are already beginning to anticipate. In contrast, Morales' interaction with Islam Makhachev was far more composed and respectful. The two fighters crossed paths backstage during a recent UFC event where Makhachev captured the welterweight title. Morales recalled that they simply acknowledged each other from a distance, a moment that subtly reflected mutual awareness of a likely future clash. Both fighters appear to understand that their trajectories are converging toward a potential championship bout, with Makhachev expected to make his first welterweight title defense in August at UFC 331. The division is heating up. Morales is widely seen as a frontrunner for that opportunity, while Gary continues to campaign for his own shot. As competition intensifies, both personal rivalries and professional stakes are beginning to collide, setting the stage for compelling matchups in the months ahead. Moving on to another news. Nate Diaz has once again made headlines after directing strong and unfiltered comments toward Charles Oliveira, asserting that he would beat the hell out of the former champion if they ever met inside the octagon. Diaz, known for his outspoken personality, doubled down on his claim that he is the true BMF in MMA, suggesting that Oliveira is simply walking around with a symbolic version of his belt. Diaz pointed to his past victories as evidence of his toughness and durability, referencing wins over notable fighters such as Anthony Pettis and Donald Cerrone. He used these fights to reinforce his belief that he has consistently faced and defeated high-level competition throughout his career. In his view, these accomplishments strengthen his argument that he deserves more recognition and respect within the sport. He also recalled a past interaction where he attempted to challenge Oliveira to a fight, claiming that Oliveira declined at the time. According to Diaz, Oliveira expressed interest in pursuing bigger opportunities and championship-level bouts instead. Diaz acknowledged this, but framed it as Oliveira avoiding a potential clash with him. He further criticized Oliveira's later willingness to call out fighters like Conor McGregor, suggesting inconsistency in his approach to matchmaking and competition. Diaz questioned the timing and logic behind Oliveira's callouts, implying that targeting fighters who are no longer at their peak is less impressive than accepting challenges from active and dangerous opponents. This critique aligns with Diaz's long-standing belief in taking on the toughest fights regardless of rankings or business considerations. In addition to his comments about Oliveira, Diaz also took aim at Daniel Cormier. Responding to an old clip of Cormier, Diaz appeared to criticize the former champion's commentary and perspective on fighters. While the details of that exchange were not fully elaborated, Diaz's remarks reinforced his ongoing frustration with how analysts and fellow fighters evaluate his career. Overall, Diaz's comments highlight his continued confidence, competitive mindset, and willingness to call out both current fighters and respected voices in the MMA community. His statements are sure to fuel further debate among fans and keep the spotlight on potential matchups and long-standing rivals. Moving on to another news. Arman Tsarukyan's grappling journey continues to gain momentum as he prepares for another high-profile appearance on the mat. Arman Tsarukyan, one of the top contenders in the UFC's lightweight division, has officially been announced for his next wrestling matchup, further expanding his competitive resume beyond mixed martial arts. The announcement was made by Real American Freestyle, confirming that Tsarukyan will compete in a 175-pound catchweight bout in the co-main event of RF8. The event is scheduled to take place on April 18th in Philadelphia, marking another significant appearance for the rising star as he continues to test his skills in pure grappling competition. In this matchup, Tsarukyan will face UFC Hall of Famer Jurija Faber, a respected veteran with a storied career in MMA and combat sports. Faber, known for his toughness and longevity, brings experience and name recognition, but the bout has sparked debate among fans and analysts regarding the competitive balance between the two athletes. Many observers have noted that Tsarukyan is currently competing at an elite level in MMA and is widely regarded as one of the most technically complete grapplers in the lightweight division. In contrast, Faber, while still highly respected, is well past his competitive prime, which has led to questions about whether this matchup presents a fair test for both competitors. The announcement quickly drew reactions from the MMA community, with many expressing surprise at the pairing. Some fans and commentators described the matchup as a mismatch, pointing to the difference in age, activity level, and current form between the two fighters. One notable reaction from within the MMA space simply labeled the bout as a mismatch, reflecting a broader sentiment among critics who believed Tsarukyan holds a clear advantage on paper. Despite the debate, the fight adds intrigue to RAF8 and highlights Tsarukyan's willingness to stay active across multiple disciplines. It also provides an opportunity for Faber to showcase his enduring skill set against one of the sport's most promising young talents. As the event approaches, attention will be focused on whether Tsarukyan can continue his dominant form on the wrestling mat and how Faber plans to approach this challenging and high-profile encounter.